Hey guys, Loves to Loom here. Today I'm going to be showing you how to create my Trinity Knot bracelet. You can choose to add beads on this or not, it's up to you, and I will show you how to loop both versions. For today's video though, I will only be doing one loom length. You will need to add an extension on the end on your own when you're done, if you do the one loom length. So you'll need 69 bands for today's version. The breakdown is 34 of this blue. It includes the blue in the middle. You'll need 17 of this very midnight dark blue that sits right there, and there's also a horizontal band that sits in there right here. And then you'll need 18 of the yellow, which sits on top. You will also need 10 beads if you plan on using them for this version. And if you do want to do a full length bracelet, I will have all of the band count and bead count down below. So to make this bracelet, you will need to have at least one rainbow loom, and you want it set up in a normal staggered position. If you want to do a full length version and don't want to use an extension, you will have to add another loom in front of this one. So the first thing that we're going to do is choose the blue that's on this one here, which I call the border because it's on the sides. I'm going to stick with a metallic blue. We're going to start by grabbing one and laying it right in the middle for closing it later loosely. And then we'll go out to the left and the right. And now we're just going to go up the sides. For just one loom length, you're only going to lay 11 straight ones, starting from this first one. You lay 11 straight, and then you'll bring it into the center. If you're using two loom lengths, you're going to lay 23 straight ones, and then bring it into the center. So I've just laid my 11th one, and I'm going to go ahead and bring it in to the center, like so. We're just going to go ahead and do that exact same thing on the left side, and then go ahead and bring it in when you get down to the end. So it will look like that once both sides are complete. I did push mine down already. We're going to come to the beginning and choose our next color. This color you don't see a whole lot. It's kind of hidden, but it's that midnight color that sits right there. You more or less see it on the back side. But I'm going to use this neon yellow. And we're going to basically be laying some upside down V's. So from this corner pin here on the left side, we're going to go diagonally inwards and do the same on the right. We're going to do this on every other row. So we're not going to lay it on the second row. Come up to the third, and we would do that again. I will lay my left side first, going diagonally in, and then on the right. You're going to skip the one after that, come up to the next one, and we will do that again. And we're going to do this to every other row. The last one that you lay should land right before the end of your bracelet, and I'll show you what I mean. Like so. So there's my last one, and then my border ends right behind it. So we're back at the beginning now, and we're going to choose two colors right now if you want to do the same style that I do. We're going to be laying just straight bands down the center. I alternate two. I choose whatever color I want my main yellow to be, because I use 3 different bands there, but this is the band specifically that we're going to lay first, that top yellow one, and then the blue there. And I alternate between those two colors. So you basically need to plan out right now and know whatever color you want to use right here, because that's the color you want to grab right there. So I'm going to be using pink for all of that section, so I'm going to grab pink for my first one. And then for my second color, I'm going to grab whatever color I used for my border there, and that will sit right there. It's the same thing for the beaded version. For anyone wondering, everything that we do laying the bands is exactly the same for the beaded version. We don't actually add the beads on until we loop it. So I will make sure to tell you when that time comes. So the first thing we're going to do is grab our first color, which for me is going to be the pink. And you're just going to lay that straight. Then you're going to get your second color, which I like to always match the sides, and that will be blue. And now we're just going to simply alternate back and forth between pink, blue, pink, and blue. And we'll just do that all the way up until we reach the end where our border is. I know I'm not very chatty today, as most of you guys already know. I had the flu for several days, and then my entire family caught it. And like one day I feel a lot better, and then the next day I have no energy, and it's just kind of been a battle. So I'm still not quite right, but I'm just trying to fight through it, you know? All right, so this is where we are at right now. We're going to go ahead and push those down. And now we're going to lay the remaining yellow that's on this one. So we just laid the two middles, and now we're laying these two bands specifically. So that's going to be whatever color you decided to choose for the first band right here, which for me is pink. So we're basically going to be laying a bunch of V's. So coming down right here to the very first pin, we're going to go diagonal left and diagonal right. You're just going to lay it right on top of the other bands, like that. You're not going to lay anything on the next row. We're going to come up to the next one, and that's where our next V will be laid. It should always be connecting to the yellow band, so you can make sure that you're on the correct one. So see how they connect to where the yellow ones were? We'll skip the next row, come up here to this row, and that's where our next one will start. And you'll lay left and right. We're just going to keep doing that down the loom. Like so. So the last bands that we need to lay are going to be these horizontal bands. It sits completely inside right here. It's that midnight blue color. But on the beaded version, you do see it a little more. It like hugs the side of the beads, as you can see right here. So you can use the same color as the border if you'd like, which is what I was initially doing. But now I like to match it to these bands here. So I'm going to use that same color. It's completely up to you what you want to do. And we're going to start on the second row, and we're just going to lay a horizontal band going straight across that row. So we're basically filling in the pins that have no bands on it. So we won't do it on this row. Come up to the row that is empty, and you'll lay your next horizontal one like so. Skip the next one, come up to the row ahead of that, and lay it again. And we'll keep doing that to every other row until we get towards the end. We will not lay it on the very last row, which is right here. So where our border comes in, do not lay one there. This will be our last one. If you do by any chance accidentally lay one there, it's not the end of the world. It just might look a little loose when you take your bracelet off. Okay, so if you haven't done so already, go through, push them down a little bit, and then turn your loom around facing yourself. We're going to grab one more band for our cap band. I wanted to say C-clip for some reason. For her cap band, we're going to wrap it around 2 times on the front pin. And we are ready to start the looping. So the first thing that we're going to do is go inside the cap band that we just laid. You're going to grab the top band that's in there and just loop it straight. Go back into the cap band, and we're going to loop the borders back to themselves. So the first one will go to the right. The second one will go to the left. There's no crazy looping in this one. Everything gets looped back to its original self. Then we're going to go right into this center pin here. You're going to grab the top band that's in there, and it's the pink straight one. You're just going to loop that forward. We're going to back up and loop the yellows now. So the first yellow will go to the left, and the second yellow will go to the right. We'll come up right here, and we're now going to loop the pinks downwards. So just go in here and grab the top diagonal pink, loop it back to itself, which is down, and do the same on the right. We're going to come back into the middle, and we are going to loop this bottom blue band forward. And we are ready to start looping that like diamond out again. So we always start by looping the pink forward, back up and do our yellows. So the first one will go to the left and then the second to the right. And now we will loop the pinks out. So this will go down to the left and then down to the right. We're going to go back into the center pin and loop the bottom blue band forward. And we're going to do that all over again. So we will start by looping the pink forward, and then the yellows back to themselves. And now we will loop the pink down to themselves. And again, so far this is all still the same regardless if you're using beads or not using beads. We're going to loop the bottom blue band forward. And then we're going to loop this section out again, starting with the pink going forward. And we will loop out our yellow. And then we will loop our pink down. And we're back to looping the blue forward. And we're just going to continue looping these out. Everything goes back to itself. I think this part's pretty easy now that you know what it is we're doing. Just take your time. I'm at the top. We're going to do the same exact thing we've been doing. Loop the pink forward, back up, and loop out your yellow. And loop your pink down. So this is what everybody's loom should be looking like. We're going to come back to the beginning. And now we're going to start looping all of us the same way. But once we get to where this horizontal band is, that's where things are going to differ whether you're using beads or not. So I'll explain that once we get there. So on the sides here, we're going to loop up the very bottom border band, as I call it, the blue band, loop it up, and repeat on the left side. Everything you do on the right, you have to do on the left on this bracelet. And now we need to flip the pinks over. So if you're counting the bands, it's going to be the second and fourth band down. If you just look from up here, you can see it's these two bands right here. If you just reach your hook back there, it automatically grabs the two bands that you need to be grabbing, and you're going to flip it over the pin towards yourself and let it go. Do the same on the left side. So again, it's the second and fourth band if you're wanting to count them, but you can easily grab them right here and flip. I do try to make sure as I'm making it that they're not twisted, just to keep things looking nice when I take it off of the loom. From there, we're going to go into those same side pins, grab the very bottom band, loop it up, and the same on the left side. You're grabbing the very bottom border and looping it up. So at this point, if you are not using beads, you're just going to go into this pin right here, act like the yellow isn't even there. You're going to grab your bottom border and simply loop it up. You're going to do that on both sides. If you do want beads, I'm just going to put that back. This is where we're going to add them. So we are going to get some kind of hook, a skinny hook. This is something I didn't mention in my intro that you'll need. I do apologize. I'll have to add that in later. Some kind of skinny hook to be able to add your little beads on. So I'm going to go ahead and add 2 of them. Now, we need to be getting these 2 bands right here onto the bead. But it's very hard to just add it on like this, because chances are most of you are going to lose those 2 bands. So I found a way to make it much easier and where there's not a lot of stress on those 2 bands. So what we're going to do is grab the back part of this horizontal band right here, pull it over the pin, don't let it go, and pull it all the way down and attach it on to the pin in front. Or I guess behind. I guess it would be behind it. Do the same on the left side. Grab the back side of that yellow horizontal, bring it over the pin, keep going back, and sit it onto that pin. We're just going to sit it there for now, just to get it out of the way. Now you're going to grab your hook with your bead. We're going to pick up both of these bands. It's our border band. Make sure you're getting both of them up off of the pin. And then slide your bead down. Once your bead's on there, reattach both bands onto the pin. It's very easy to slide it on there now that that horizontal band is out of the way. We're going to do the same to the left side. I'm going to pop these 2 bands off, slide my bead down, and reattach, making sure both bands are on there. Now we have to reattach our horizontal yellow band. And this is the part you can forget if you're moving too quickly. I've done it a million times. You have to make sure you put this band back or it will not come out right. So I'm just going to pick it up, swing it back up here, and place it back on the pin where it was originally supposed to be. Come down here, grab it again, and place it back up here. Just showing you different views so you can see how it looks. From there, we're going to simply go down into this pin to grab the border and loop it up. Do the same on the left, grabbing the bottom band and looping it up. So now that we are at this point, regardless if you have beads or not, this part is exactly the same. We looped our border up and now we need to flip over these 2 pinks. Remember, this is the 2nd and 4th band that we're technically grabbing. You're just going to pull it over the pin and release. Repeat on the left side. Make sure you're getting both of those pinks. Release and flip. We're going to grab the bottom band and loop it up on both sides. If you're not using beads, you're just going to go into this pin again, grab the bottom and loop it up and do the same on this side. If you want to add beads, we're going to do that right now. I want to show you in case you guys are wondering, well, why do we got to do all that moving with the yellow band? This is why. What you could technically do is move the yellow out of the way, grab both of those blues and pull it up and slide the bead down. It's pulling so much, I will not be able to get those bands back on there without pushing that bead down with my fingernail and then attaching, my stomach is growling, attaching the bands back on. Now, I'm able to do that because I have these pointy nails, but not everyone's going to be able to do that. And even I keep losing the bands, even having nails. So, if you can do it that way, it does save time. But to be safer, I prefer to grab the back of this horizontal band, just pull it down here, temporarily sit it on that pin. I'm just going to do it on this side too so you can see. And now I can easily grab my bead. I'm going to pop off both of these bands. I can slide it right down and attach it back on without any problem. Once you do that, do not forget to come back here and grab that band and bring it back to where it's supposed to go, like so. All right, so we're going to now go into this pin, grab the very bottom band and loop it up. Do the same on the left. We're going to flip our pink bands, which is the second and fourth band down. And then we will go into that same pin, grab the very bottom, loop it up. Grab the very bottom and loop it up. This is where we add our beads if you're adding them. So I'm going to grab the back of my horizontal yellow. I'm going to pull it down here and set it on the pin below to get it out of the way on both sides. I'm going to reload my hook with 2 more beads. And I'm going to add them on. Don't forget to bring your horizontal yellow back up here where it should be. And now we can continue on. We're going to grab the very bottom band, loop it up. We're at the point where we need to flip our pink, which is the second and fourth band. And then we will loop the very bottom border. We need to rearrange our horizontal band for a second, so we're going to pull this down here so that we can add our beads on. I'm going to pop it off, put my bead on this side and on the left. Don't forget to grab your yellow and bring it back up. And we can continue looping, grabbing the bottom band. We're going to flip the pinks over. We'll grab the bottom band again and loop that up. And we have 1 more set of beads to lay on this row right here. So I'm going to grab the back of my yellow and pull it down here for a minute. Load up my beads. Remember to bring your yellows back. And we can finish on with the end of our bracelet by looping the bottom band up. And don't forget to flip the pinks over on this top one. This one's a little harder to grab because there's a lot of bands on that pin, so be careful that you're only grabbing the pinks. And lastly, we're going to go into these corner pins, grab the very bottom band and bring it into the center. At this point, you're going to want to grab that loose band that we had there. Reach inside the pin and grab the bottom of it and bring both ends together. You are either going to attach your C-clip or you're going to take it off of the loom, leave it on your hook and make your extension. If you don't know how to make an extension, I will link a video right in the eye up here so you can go ahead and watch that video. I'm not going to actually make one today, but I'm going to go ahead and pop this off now. You just want to take your time and go row by row. So when you do take it off of the loom, you're just going to want to give it a good little stretch up and down. I should have chosen another color for this band right here. I usually like it to pop a little more, and I didn't think through the yellow and yellow. But sometimes you'll have to grab the bead and pull it left to right just to stretch it out and help that band sit a little bit better. This one came out really good. There isn't anything I have to do, but sometimes you have to kind of play with that band to get it sitting nicely right next to it. If you did not use beads, there's really nothing you have to do. It comes out rather nicely. But that is it, you guys. That is how you make my Trinity Knot bracelet with or without beads. If you like this video, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button down below. And don't forget to tag me on Instagram if you make one. There is a little tag option under the picture when you go to upload that says tag people. If you just click that, And then tap the picture. You can type my name in, and you can also type Rainbow Loom in, official Rainbow Loom, and it will tag both of us. So, yeah, just thought I'd help you guys out with that. But that's it for today, you guys. I thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all really soon at my next tutorial. Thanks, guys. Bye.